Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask Nurse Practitioner Deidre. As we kick off the new year, I know many of you are wrestling with those nutrition resolutions. Maybe you've promised yourself you'll eat healthier, cook more meals at home, or finally understand what real nutrition actually looks like. Well, you're in the right place. I'm here to tell you that those goals are not just possible, they're actually within your reach. And today we're going to dive deep into the strategies that actually work, the mindset shifts that make lasting change, and the practical tips that will transform your relationship with food. Nurse practitioner Deidre is here to break down the science, cut through the crap, confusion, and give you real world advice you can use starting right now. Whether you're looking to manage a chronic condition, lose weight, boost your energy, or just feel better in your own skin, this episode, well, it's your roadmap to success. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's make this year the year you finally crack the code on nutrition for good. Are you ready, nurse practitioner Deidre?
I am. I am.
I I hear that you have already set your resolution for 2025 and are almost complete in actually succeeding with it. I don't know though, if it's a little cheatery that you're pretty much done with your New Year's resolution before the end of January, then what happens for the next 11 and a half months? But okay, I'll wait for judgment here.
Okay, that's perfect. So I actually start thinking about my resolution way before like the new year comes. Usually in October, I start to think about what has went well for this past year and where I need to make tweaks. And as you know my story, like my cardiovascular history and everything. So I have my annual cardiovascular appointment always in December, right? So we look at the labs, we have our discussion, and then I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing well, and these are the things that I want to tweak. So this year, I thought I'd start the New Year's resolution off with doing a detox. And there's lots of ways to detox, and I'm going to have a Zoom meeting about that at some point on the 16th. But I just want to say, like, that has been great for me because I haven't done a detox in a long time. And when we talk about detoxification, it's not just the foods that we ate around the holidays, but we're also ridding of like the plastics and the products that can cause bad side effects to our health. So I started going through drawers and emptying and ridding things. I always have this kind of resolution that whatever the year is, so like in 2024, I got rid of 24 things that was not good for my health in my home. Just stuff, even clutter in your house is not good for your health, right? So this year was 25 things, and I went through personal care items, made some switches. I'm pretty good about that, but this year I was like really digging a little bit deeper into some of those things we put on our skin. And so the detox, it's a 7 day like reset detox. So I gave up coffee. And Josh had asked me, do I, give up any other caffeine, but I don't drink other caffeine. So coffee is pretty much what I really enjoy because of not just the caffeine, but it's freezing cold here in Ohio right now. So the warmth of it. And then just resetting like how I'm eating and giving my body that rest of intermittent fasting and that autophagy of the cells that happen when you're doing that. So I've started it and it's been like a really great process. I had a little book that gave me like certain meals and I've been making all the meals in it so that I can share with other people. So
Which one are you doing? Are you doing a liver detox? I just discovered there are different detoxes. You can do the COVID and the COVID vaccine detox. You can do a liver detox. They're all different ones that you can do.
this is
Are you
more
doing
of
the liver?
a liver detox
Okay.
that I'm doing.
I I just did one a couple months ago, and I discovered my best discovery in that whole process from my little book was the kimchi and eggs. And I am now addicted to kimchi and scrambled eggs. Absolutely love it. And sometimes I'll add a little bit of spinach and some lion's mane mushrooms or cremini mushrooms. But oh my gosh, I am seriously addicted. The textures, the little bit of spice to it. Oh, I'm even craving it right now.
And we get into our routines from our day to day. So always to give ourselves a little bit of a goal and a little bit of a push is really nice. So in this, I was able to do it with another nurse practitioner that's in our
Oh, wow.
practice. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we decided to do it together. And like the first day she called me and she was like, "Are you doing okay?" And I was like, "Not so much." First day was really a struggle. I really messed that day up. And so I like to say that to patients and to other people, like you can have little not wins. That's okay, right? It's one little part of your day. So don't let it wreck the whole thing you're trying to do.
Yeah, you can't keep kicking yourself. If you kick yourself for, one mistake, then it's just going to lead you on a downward spiral versus saying to yourself, okay, I made the mistake. I fell off the wagon. I know that I prefer to stay on it. I prefer to go forward. I'm going to go forward and I'm going to do my best to just maintain it from here on out. Keep, kicking the can forward and trying to, maintain your goals and the steps to achieving those goals.
Exactly. And, you know, resolutions fail because some of that is psychological. So, and that's what I want to dig a little bit into is kind of why do they fail and how to kind of avoid those pitfalls that we all kind
Yep.
of get into. So there's definitely
So important.
psychology behind it. And that perfectionism that we want so badly can sabotage our progress, right? And so we're looking for progress over perfection, consistency, and that's how we want to reframe like our setbacks and make those opportunities. Like I can't drink milk very often, and I put milk in the first shake because that was what was at my son's place. And I regretted that. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to buy almond milk every place I am going to be for the next week. So,
Can I give you a little tip at that? You know what I do because I can't always, I don't always have access to the milk, but what I always have access to is we keep a big bag of walnuts at all times in our freezer. And so I'll take a cup of walnuts to 3 cups of water. And then I just pulverize it, just blend it and blend it and blend it in my Vitamix, and it turns it into milk. And then you can add the powder to it or whatever you want in your smoothie to that. And then you don't have to keep a milk in your fridge.
yeah, that's a great idea too to have that because I don't typically have milks at all in the fridge. So,
So have we gone through the resolutions and why they fail and how to avoid common pitfalls, or do you have a little bit more of a deep dive into that, or should we move on to those proven strategies to actually stay on track?
well, I just want to just say that fear of failure, right? That perfectionist often equates to mistakes with failure. So we don't want to get into that paralysis by analysis where we fear not doing something perfectly, so we don't do it at all. So just give yourself that space to, make mistakes and learn from that and be like, oh, this didn't work for me, or I didn't get that workout in today. So usually at the beginning of the year, I get a lot of patients who start to come in and they're ready to reset everything because they realize they were doing so well till they hit the holiday time and they expose themselves to all the things they had given up. And holidays are a tough time for that as well. And we want to have achievable goals. So, and I like that strategy of SMART goals. And the SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So you want to get really detailed about what your goal is. So for me, just to say, I want to eat healthy, well, what does that really mean? So I want to say to myself, I want to eat clean Mediterranean diet, let's say. And the measurable part of that is being able to look at those meals and say, let's say we start with dinner. My dinner is going to be my perfect Mediterranean meal every day. And And the time bound thing is, I always think to myself, and I work with lots of patients, can you do that 85% of this week? And if the answer is no, then you reset that goal. Can you do it 4 days out of 7? That's what you want to make your goal measurable. And then you go from there and you keep tweaking that, right? Finding like how, so that you know you're going to be successful. So if I said, I'm going to write this paper, that's my goal for this week, and I get to the end of the week and I've not spent any time on it, using a SMART goal where it's measurable, and I say, I'm going to spend 1 hour each day writing this paper.
Mhm.
That's how we want to break that down. We want to break it down so that it's measurable and it's actionable and it's actually relevant to your life. Don't pick a goal that's going to be something so far out there that it is not achievable for you. And then accountability, find you a partner. Like I said, Katie's my partner this week for keeping me on track with the detox, and we're doing this together. And we've been sending pictures back and forth of the recipes that we've made and tracking our progress and just kind of celebrating our wins together. It's fun just to have somebody for that. So.
And what about the importance of the why? I mean, you mentioned that it needs to be a goal that's relatable to you and fits into your life, but I think a big part of it is, that helps you remain accountable and helps you to achieve your goals and be successful in your New Year's resolutions is making sure you have a solid why.
Exactly. And so I have a patient yesterday, and her why was she wants to be able to hold her granddaughter, who weighs 13 pounds, and she's been very ill, this patient of mine. And so when we get into the whys, make it something very personable, so, something that motivates you, so that you are motivated to achieve this because it's something that you're going to enjoy. So for her, that like grandbaby, just getting to hold the grandbaby, that right now 13 pounds just seems like too much for her. And so her why is the baby. And we broke down the steps that she can do, starting with for her mobility, it's going to be some water aerobics 3 times a week and doing some like light weights and bands. So we're going to do that. Her husband's going to be there present when she's holding the baby and stuff. So we're breaking it down very minutely for her. And then we'll follow up and see how that goes as we build the strength for her and we build her stamina to be able to do that.
And when you have these New Year's resolutions, it's always tough in the beginning until the activities that you've laid out become a habit. And I'm curious, what is the functional medicine perspective on habit formation as it relates to achieving these New Year's resolutions?
So the brain needs to adapt to a new habit, right? And so consistency is key with things. And it does take about 30 days to form a new habit. I heard on the radio, though, that it was 21 days. I don't totally agree with that. And what I've read, it's more 30 days and you start to build a new habit there. So that's kind of looking at what we need to do consistently. So when I have somebody come to me and they're like half doing things, we'll just pick one thing out of their goal to be consistent about for the next 30 days. And then so it's like an onion. And I've said this before, health is like an onion. You peel away the layers. So if you're half doing your health most of the time, we just pick a specific thing. So maybe your goal is you need to walk down the hallway. I can remember that after my open heart, I couldn't get down to my into my driveway, and my goal was to climb a mountain. I did that by 8 months, but it was every day going after that goal, going after that consistency is what you need to do.
And so exercise is great, but we talk so much here about nutrition. And I even opened up with a key goal for I think for every single person, and including you, you're doing that detox. And for me, I have made a commitment to eating healthier every single day and less cheats on my gluten because I have that MTHFR mutation. And sometimes I end up cheating a little more often than I should, and I pay for it, but that is a goal for me. But in terms of nutrition itself, what are some insider tips to make eating healthier sustainable? and reduce the number of those cheats?
Meal planning. Like, I can't say enough about meal planning. And thinking about what you're going to eat with, like, if you have one day a week that you can kind of prep things and prepare it, that's really good. Most of us can squeeze out maybe an hour or two where we can kind of think about the full week. The 80-20 rule for balanced eating without deprivation, right? 80% of what we eat should be really clean and really good. Looking at clean eating, and what does clean eating mean? It's really just avoiding ultra processed foods, like starting there, right? And then starting to think of some of those swaps, that everyday things like cauliflower rice for your white rice, zucchini noodles for pasta. So giving some swaps for the foods that align you with more clean eating. Now, I will say people who are really craving the sweets because we've just come off this high of sugar and everything, there can become some like overgrowth of bacteria in the gut that craves that. So protein intake is extremely important to battle that one for you. So you want to be getting in about, you know, 30 grams of protein each meal. And I've sat down with at least 5 people this week alone, and not one of them was meeting the protein goal. And so it's like looking at that. How can we get more protein in so you get the amino acids so that you have the energy to do the things that you want to do with your health?
And how about batch cooking and that playing into sustainable eating habits?
So I actually like batch cooking. I will make up soups and freeze them for a long time.
Yeah, I
Something that,
make up a healthy chili and
Mhm.
I freeze it. I put it in a freezer, actually in thermoses. So I have like 5 thermoses. So I have my one I keep in the fridge that for the week. So maybe 2 or 3 days during the week, I will have that chili and I have it in little bowls to eat for lunch. But then I have the thermoses in the freezer so that I can actually take one at a time out so that when I'm on the go, I can have my healthy food with me and it's already in the thermos ready to put in the microwave.
right? And that's like batch cooking is really great, especially if you can freeze some stuff. In the summertime, when we had all that plentiful food, I was already thinking about the winter time. So what can I like pull from the garden, buy extra that's cheap, chop up, freeze for those soups and things that I want, and then make in abundance. But I have soup Sundays and I'll make extra and freeze that. And so then through the week, when I don't have time to prep, which most of the time I try to do that, but like I said, we have to have a backup plan, and set ourselves up for success. So my success is if I don't have time, I'm just going to pop one of those cubes of frozen, soup or whatever else I've frozen up and made and make it easier for myself. So,
Well, it's so much better. Oh my gosh, I love that. And
yeah.
I even do salads at the beginning of the week, and I make enough salad for the week, and then I put all of my little accoutrements, on the side, so that I the night before I can just throw a bunch of things in and just grab and go. Makes it so much
Yeah.
easier.
We've done some of those jar salads too, which are really nice, where you layer it up through
Oh
the
yeah.
week and then you just mix it, like you flip it and shake it, and then it blends it for you. So that's a really nice little thing to do.
It's funny. I mean, I probably could. I'm going to make an excuse here. So, all the ones that I've seen have been in a little bit more of a narrow jar, and I have a weird thing. I don't like things eating out of something tall. I would rather have it wide so I could have it spread out.
Yeah,
But I guess you can get those ones. I've seen the wider round containers of salad that you can now go through the airports, and some of the airports have vending machines that are refilled with these salads in a jar. And so you have no excuse for not eating healthy even at the airport because those are in a lot of them that I've seen. I haven't been to one yet in the past year that hasn't had one of those vending machines with the salads.
right. And preparing for travel is another thing there. You're
Yeah.
able to take your own foods on the flight
Mhm.
as well. So,
And those jarred ones, you can make them at home. Just pour the dressing on right before you go through the TSA, and then you don't have that long for the any of the salad to wilt in the dressing. By the time you get on the plane, it's what, less than an hour typically. And so you can open it up and eat your salad right when you get on the plane. It's
Exactly.
perfect. So next, so how about um, the mind body connection? So much of this is about getting into the right mindset to, sustain healthy eating long term, or whatever your goals might be for 2025.
So that's a huge part of it because we know from even placebo studies that 30% of people respond to medications who've never even had the medication in a study because the mind is so powerful. You have the what we call placebo effect. So if you
Mhm.
have the ability to believe that you can be well or that you can do this, you can. That's one of the questions I ask my patients. We have a real heart to heart, but I'll say, do you see yourself well? And what does that look like? And so
Mm.
I, in my head, know what wellness looks like to them, but also do they have the ability to picture themselves doing the thing that they want? So if your goal is to eat healthy or your goal is to exercise, do you see yourself in your mind doing that? I visualize myself on the top of a mountain after open heart every single day until it happened. And when I got to the top of Mount LeConte, the highest mountain in Tennessee, which was a real struggle 8 months after open heart, when I was standing there, I felt what I had visioned in my mind over and over. And it was so powerful. So if you want to achieve a goal, see yourself doing it. Look in the mirror, tell yourself, I'm going to climb that mountain. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to exercise today. Remind yourself that you've got it in you to do that.
Do you want
So
to hear something funny? Before I had a first appearance on CNN, I superimposed myself I took a picture of the screen, the TV screen with the anchor on there, and I superimposed my picture as the anchor with my name, put my name on it, and I put it on the ceiling. So it was over my bed. So every single time I would wake up in the morning, or when I would go to bed at night, it'd be the first thing that I would see when I opened my eyes or right before I closed my eyes. And literally within 2 months, I had my first appearance on CNN as a guest reporter. So I really think it works.
it does. And the thought behind it, vision boards, like that's another way to kind of put a vision board together, put pictures up, like you said, and above your bed is great, but if you can't tape something up there, like take a picture of it with your phone and make it your screensaver. Always be looking at what your goal is, reminding yourself, like, this is what I'm going after. This is what I'm going after. And maybe even your next screensaver should be your why, putting that
That's
in there
true.
too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But even when you're doing these superimposing and you're putting those pictures up, there is a one little caveat there, that you can't just put it up and be thinking, well, I want to achieve that, and then kind of leaving room for, well, I don't have it, well, I don't have it, well, I haven't achieved it, I haven't achieved it. You have to put yourself there, and you have to really think about, how does it feel to achieve it? Does it feel fun? Does it feel exciting? Do you feel successful? What does that feel like? And suddenly you'll start feel this excitement come over you, and this feeling of fun and enthusiasm. That is what it feels like to have it. So if you can get that feeling every time you look at it, it's almost as if you've achieved it, because you have the feeling right then and there of achieving it, because that is what it's going to feel right, once you do achieve it. That feeling of enthusiasm, excitement, fun, success. Oh my gosh, yay, I'm smiling. So I don't know, it might seem like woohoo, out there for some people, but that's how people, in a sense, if you talk about manifesting, you have to think it and believe it before you see it, and not believing it is that feeling part.
Right. And it's that negative self-talk if we say, oh, I'm not there yet. But if you experience it already in your body, what that's going to feel like, you're
Mhm.
there, right? And so when it happens, like that's the bonus of it, right?
And I'd love to open it up to other people who might want to share their resolutions and have um, nurse practitioner Deidre comment on them. I'll share mine first to get things started. That I wanted to make sure that I got on the elliptical for 30 minutes every single day. And already today, I've been doing great. What are we on day 8? And I've gotten every single day in, even on the weekends. Even on the days that I try to go and get out to a hot tub to just relax a little bit, I still went on the elliptical until today because I messed up on my schedule and I scheduled something earlier than I normally would. And once my day got started, NP Deidre, I got derailed. I'm now more than halfway through my day and I have not done the elliptical.
And so we have to tell Kim to give herself some space because that's okay. It's one day, but like she gave me a tip with the walnut milk, I'm going to give you the exercise snack tip that I really found really impactful. But in an 8-hour day, if you every hour for 1 minute do something like high knees or squat, it's the same as working out for 30 minutes. So that's 8 minutes. You just have to do it every hour, 1 minute for an 8-hour day. And it's called an exercise snack. So if you have a job where you're seated, you want to just every hour maybe set your phone and do some squats for 60 seconds. It's so impactful for your health and it helps get that VO2 max up. But that is one of the things that I learned at my longevity summit, those exercise snacks. And yeah, I like to utilize those in my day if I'm not going to be able to get the walking exercise and everything that I want.
Does it still, you said it gets your VO2 up, but I guess it's a certain amount of exercise or a certain exertion of exercise to get that heart rate up just a little bit.
Right. So you want to be doing high knees or the squats or something, not doing it like gentle, but really get something for 60 seconds to get that up. Or go up and down your stairs if that's something you're able to do. When we were at the conference, they had all of us do high knees for 60 seconds in place. And then they recorded that. And it was pretty hilarious. Hundreds of people doing high knees all at once.
Oh my gosh.
So,
That's fun though. And I'm glad that they don't just talk about it, they actually make you do it. It's, practicing what we're preaching. And I think that's
exactly.
great. So
Yeah.
we have Heinz. Heinz waiting patiently. Heinz, what is your New Year's resolution? Are you struggling? Are you succeeding? Can we help at all?
I just want to see 2026. You know, I never thought hard on a
That's a good
resolution.
goal. Good goal.
But Deidre, you said earlier that you're on this detox mission here. The one thing they eliminated was coffee. Now, coffee is supposed to be an antioxidant. So, are you hurting yourself by not having coffee? There's other antioxidants I'm sure you can have, but you know, you
So,
do good with one and then you do bad with the other and vice versa.
I think it
right.
also depends on which coffee, right? If you're using that instant stuff, I'm sure they're probably, I would imagine there would be as many antioxidants in the general processed stuff that you find on the store shelves.
Right. And so your organic coffees are your better. And you're right about that. When you do a detox, Heinz, typically what the goal is to just focus on the eating and water intake. Even your water intake should be like very filtered water and things like that. But just looking at as much like organic eating as you can. I'm doing mainly chicken and fish, ground turkey, things like that. Very minimal beef at this time. But it's only going to be for a 7 day, and then I'm going to stay on the kind of clean eating part of it without all the supplementing. And I'll probably add back in some of my coffee once in a while, but I did switch over to some of the detox teas and things like that that have some good benefits too. So what does getting to 2026 look like for you?
Well, I just want to make sure that I'm still alive and kicking.
Okay.
Yeah,
That means that you have to eat your vegetables, Heinz. Every single one of those vegetables that you don't like.
I'll try, but I can't guarantee that.
A little inside joke. He doesn't like a lot of vegetables. But I think you do pretty well on your vegetables. I think you eat more than you think.
Well, what was also mentioned earlier about taking your salad and putting the dressing on before you get to the airport. What if you don't put dressing on there? That's just as good. That's me.
That's
Anyway,
even better.
How do I approach my goal for to get to 2026? I just want to be able to walk.
Okay. And
I just want to
so,
be alive. I want to, I'm in my middle 60s and I just want to keep going.
good, good. And so being able to walk, what do you have to do to like make that goal happen all the time?
I do it every day. I mean, what did I get last year? I had 5 million plus steps. So I just want to, I don't know how accurate that is, but I had quite a number of miles. But
Okay.
then, I just want to continue to be able to do that. And that pad and whatever else out there doesn't restrict that anymore.
Good. And are you feeling some benefits from everything you have done?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So
I mean,
how can we?
I mean, look at it this way. It's exercise, and exercise is good for you. So it's not just for the pad, it's also for the heart and other things. So that's how I see it. And what stinks is back in October, I got plantar fasciitis. So I'm still dealing with that. I'm afraid to go on the treadmill, so I got to walk outside like this morning at 5 degrees. But I make it a goal to at least get 4.5, 5 miles a day.
Okay. So what's your New Year's resolution, and do you have questions on how to achieve it?
I just hope that I don't get critical limb ischemia or anything like that, or that my heart doesn't give out.
So a New Year's resolution is to maintain, right? You want to maintain
Yeah.
your walking 4 to 5 miles a day, which is going to help with that goal of not having issues with your legs with critical limb ischemia. If you're walking 4 to 5 miles a day, unless you have an acute clotting event, doctors say that you're less likely to have any sort of critical limb ischemia set in because you're growing those collateral vessels and it takes a lot for those to go down. Number one. Number two is regular checkups. Are you getting regular checkups, not only of your legs, but also your heart? Something that could give you peace of mind might be to make a resolution that you're going to get on the phone and you're going to schedule and follow through with a PET scan, a PET scan, to check those coronary arteries.
I did have my carotid checked a couple of weeks ago, and they're fine.
That's good.
Yeah, that's real good.
So, I mean, there's plaque in there, but it's nothing serious. I guess as you get older, there's going to be plaque. I think that.
Yeah.
But
So could it be NP Deidre? Could it be that yes, he wants to make it to 2026? So the New Year's resolutions, how would you set that? It would be maintaining those 4 to 5 miles a day, at least, 4 to 5 days a week. It would be making sure that you have a regularly scheduled leg ultrasound and follow through with that. And
I had
then
one.
number 3 is getting your heart checked. Number 4 is maintaining the healthier diet that we know that you're already do. Wait, NP Deidre, I caught him. Something. 911. Help, Deidre.
And the healthy diet, Heinz, can start looking like, just adding some color in at first, like What kind of color can I add into my diet that I like? Little bits of things consistently give you some powerful punches. So,
Yeah. I still eat salads.
good.
I like a nice piece of beef or chicken or pork or whatever else, you know.
But isn't that in moderation, Deidre? So maybe one of the
Yeah.
goals is, how much what portion, what does a portion look like for someone like him?
Right. And so,
Is
looking
it
at
16 ounces?
probably
No,
not 16 ounces,
no,
right?
no, that's too much.
Are you trying to win a t-shirt here, Heinz?
No, no, that's a lot. In the old
Yeah.
days, 16 ounces was fine, but not anymore.
Yeah. So we're usually looking at
No
the size
tomahawk
of our
for you.
palm.
Yeah.
Size of your palm piece of meat with the thickness of your palm can be a serving size. And, we do tend to avoid those higher cholesterol proteins as well. But if you're doing something in moderation, and this is a discussion you can have with your provider, but maybe your goal is like once a week or once a month or something, depending on what your levels show. And that can be like a little reward, like, hey, I've hit my goal so much. This is reward yourself for all the things that you are doing right. So focus on that. Like you're walking 4 to 5 miles a day. That is incredible. That is incredible for your mind, for your vascular, for your
Mm,
PAD, all of that.
At
yes.
altitude too, at 6,400 feet. So
That's pretty, yeah.
that's already I don't know how you look at it, plus or negative, however you want to look at it.
I look at
I
that
think
as a
that's
plus.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a plus. So,
I
And
cheat a
wait,
lot with food, so you know, will I eat Brussels sprouts? Did Dennis the Menace? No. So, will Heinz? Probably not. But there's other vegetables out there.
but it sounds like you're doing good. Maybe reduce it to maybe start with 3 cheats a week and try to go to 2 cheats and maybe go to 1 cheat a week.
I would be a dietitian's nightmare. Let me put it that way.
Well,
Because
you
I
said
have,
you want to live past 2026, so what can we get you to commit to?
uh, I already cut down coffee. I already cut down, but I did that a few years ago. Uh, I don't know. I really don't know. Commit to, I don't know. I really don't know.
How about, should we say, 4 to 5 cheats per week?
I have to wonder what a cheat is if my cholesterol's already low.
But it sounds like you said you cheat. So how do you cheat? Having a little bit of meat here and there is not
Well,
really a cheat. It just depends on which diet you choose
right.
for your own heart health. Dr. Michael Danziger, who wrote the comparative paper on all of the different diets, says every single diet is equal. It's just a matter of what diet is right for you. It's a diet that you'll stick to. And he said there are pros and cons to every single one of them. So if you're
How about the
sticking to a
carnivore?
diet,
The carnivore diet.
I've heard
I'm
some
just
people are
kidding.
on it.
I'm
No, there
just
are
kidding.
some people. There is a man on YouTube that has his own YouTube channel, and it's purely based on eating carnivore as a peripheral artery disease patient. I am not
Yeah,
wow.
kidding.
yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
saw.
not a direction I would go. I think that we were hunter and gatherers, so I think that there's a lot of gathering that still needs to be a part of every diet. But to each his own. So,
So, Nurse
but
Deidre, maybe I'll think of something next few weeks and I'll come up
okay.
with something. But right now, I had no New Year's resolution. I just want to make it to 2026, basically. And I'll say
Well,
probably the
use
same in 2026. I want to make it to 2027. You
so
know,
then you use that SMART goal, looking at be specific about it, how you can measure your progress. Are the things that you're doing achievable? Are they relevant, like to making it to 2026? and give yourself a time bound, like, okay, I'm going to do these goals so many times in the week or once a month or whatever they are, so that you know you can achieve that within 85% of the time. And that's what's going to get you to 2026.
How about going to more beer festivals?
Oh, did you see that comparison that was online? That they compared a soda to a beer and they said a beer was better than a soda because it has less carbs and less sugar.
I
It
did not
depends
see.
what
The
kind of
same
beer
one.
you drink, but yeah.
I think that is what he's
They
referencing.
they also just came out with saying that alcohol, I think, can cause cancer.
Yeah, they're looking to make that an official declaration
Yeah.
through the through the government um health organization. I don't know which, I forget the
It's the Surgeon General. But
Surgeon General.
if they do that, I'm screwed. Just saying. It's my
She
cheat.
likes a glass of wine once in a while.
I do.
Everything in moderation, right?
Exactly.
And I think part of the Mediterranean diet, if I understand what they
Red
do in
wine.
Spain, Italy, Greece, places like that, they drink wine.
I love them.
So
So we have someone that's coming in online, Mikkel, and the issue is her sister lives in the areas of devastation in California right now with the wildfires. So she can't be online with us right now in the live studio audience, but her New Year's goal is to actually add more supplements to her smoothies and such. And she'd like to know about mushroom powder, how valuable it might be, because you see a lot of it. You see the mushroom coffee, you see mushroom powder that the reishi stuff you can add into your smoothies. Um, and if you like mushrooms, if you have any brand recommendations, but she also wants to know beetroot powder. And, she wants to know if she can use both, one or the other is better. If you just chose one, which one would it be? Any thoughts on these types of powder supplements to add to her diet and increase in her diet?
So beetroot is really good for cardiovascular. Like we know beets are so powerful for that. So it depends on what like your ultimate health goal is. I love adding mushrooms though for many reasons. One, they're adaptogens, so they help our cortisol, our stress response. Turkey tail mushroom has been studied in cancer, and so there's a lot of benefits to turkey tail. Reishi is, a stress one. There's just lion's mane is another really good one. And so most of my cancer patients, we have a discussion about doing mushrooms for the benefits of it and what the studies show. So it depends on what your health goal is for those. There's a lot of really great products out there. You really want to get good sourcing though. So making sure, like some of my favorite companies are, Designs for Health, Orthomolecular, Metagenics, Biotics Research, all of those have really pure products. So you're just looking for organic source things that are not adding a bunch of fillers to what you're purchasing. And there is an app, I'm going to plug this app because it's great. It's Yuka, Yuka. And that app, anything you purchase, is going to tell you if there's fillers or bad things in it for your health. So that's how you can do it when you're not like, because for me to look at everything, that's what I would start with. Put it in the Yuka app, see what comes up for anything bad in it, and then go from there.
And I want to see if Lynn might have a New Year's resolution that she would like to share and be held accountable to and for.
Hi there. Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us. It's late there.
Yeah, well, not really, but I've only just got back in. I didn't make any New Year's resolutions really. I am just going to continue to try and improve my walking distances and my overall health. I have got weight to lose. Um, but I've been overweight all of my life, but I am trying now to lose to lose. I'm on a 12-week program that our NHS actually provides to people that have a BMI of over 30, which I have. I've been to 2 or 3 weeks, but they're not really telling me anything that I don't know, which is a bit worrying. I was just writing about that Yuka. We call it Yuka here, the Yuka app. I use that a lot when I'm going shopping, and I use the barcode zapper, which tells you whether it's good, bad, whatever. But it also, I was just tapping out, it recommends alternatives, which is really good as well. So if you scroll down when you've got a bad, I mean, I'm a great lover of plain chocolate, dark chocolate, you probably call it. And I buy one brand. And I thought I was doing brilliant with this one brand of of chocolate that was lasting me over a week. But I used the Yuka app and it said poor. And I thought, what? And it did give me an alternative, which was a very expensive Danish chocolate, but I will change it. But yeah, I guess my New Year resolution really is to try and improve my physical and my mental well-being. Last year wasn't a good year for me. So anything that I can do to improve that, I will do.
So what does improving your well-being look like for you, Lynn?
Um, Probably our NHS is in a bit of a mess here, you know. I had a stent put in my heart in June last year, and I haven't even had my first checkup yet. So I was quite interested to hear you speaking to Heinz about that you could. It sounds to me as if your system is a lot better than ours. In the fact that you can ask for things. I'm always interested when Kim writes about a second opinion. I think if everybody in the UK asked for a second opinion, I think we'd break the NHS. We're lucky to even get a first opinion here.
Oh.
But what does it look like? Well, it looks like probably losing a little bit of weight and eating good. I mean, I start off really good in the day. You know, I'll have a really good breakfast with eggs, and I make all my own bread. So I'd have a piece of bread with it, maybe a couple of coffees, and then that'll last me then till sort of dinner time. And then like tonight, I've just had some chicken and potatoes and greens, and then I had a yogurt for dessert. And then out come the crisps and the biscuits, and you know, and it just doesn't stop.
So sometimes when you're
And
having those,
it's not funny, you know. I wish I
yeah.
could stop. I wish I could, you know. I've got like here's the empty Pringles, you know. Me and my husband have just finished those off, so I
I
should
would
be able.
encourage you,
I should be able to have them in the house without having to eat them, you know.
yeah, but I would encourage you to kind of think about how much protein you're actually getting. Because sometimes we have these cravings because we're not getting the protein that we need to not have the cravings. And so just encourage you to kind of look at where you're at and see what it looks like to kind of boost that up to about 90 grams a day of different various really clean proteins and see how the snacking goes. And maybe a goal can just be that, you know, you pick a couple nights a week where you absolutely aren't going to do that and start there and just set yourself up for success.
That's a good idea. Yeah, instead of going the whole hog, just maybe do a couple of. Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you're feeling successful, it's easier to do the next thing. I mean, you're already using the app and you're making changes. So I feel like starting very small and working your way into something bigger would be great.
Okay. Yeah, I will try that. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. And thank you, Lynn, for your courage and sharing and for your commitment to take steps to improve your health over 2025. And Marcia has a question. Marcia, go ahead and ask your question of NP Deidre.
Actually, it's not a question. It was more in response to Lynn. And I don't know if this would help her, but when I started and I started my cardiovascular new diet, if you want to, not diet, lifestyle, and I lost 40 pounds. A couple of things I did was, one, there's an app I followed, and now I'm trying to remember the name of it. But what it was is that I wrote down everything I ate or drank, everything. And it was a free version of the app. And if you're interested, I can let you know. But it told me based on what my goal was and my body size, height, and everything, how many calories, to shoot for, so it would still be healthy. And I lived on carrots, and because I just like to do this all the time. And so I could eat carrots. I could eat, I could eat as much as I wanted. And that was half of my battle, was just doing hand to mouth. The other thing is, I don't know if you can walk, but the more I exercise, when I'm busy, I don't think about eating as much. At nighttime, I do. But I don't know if those are helpful to you. You're muted.
Oh, yeah.
There, you're unmuted now.
There you go.
All
We can hear
right,
you now.
thank you. No, that is useful. The carrots is a really useful idea. And yes, I can walk. I bought, it's a bit snowy here at the moment, so and it's really, really cold. So I slip over a lot, so I'm not walking outside, but I got a walking pad, and I've set myself a minimum of half an hour's continual walking. I generally end up walking for about 3/4 of an hour, and I'm doing about 2 miles then on the walking pad. So yes, I am walking, and I'm hoping that will help with the weight and with the CAD and the pad. Yeah.
Well, good for you. Are you interested in that app I was talking about? Because I'll try and find it.
Is it? I think it's Fitness Pal, isn't it? My Fitness Pal.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
I did the free version, and what it did for me, even in the beginning when I wasn't doing great, it made me conscious of how many times I was putting something in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was. It made me stop to think instead of mindlessly just grabbing something, unless it was a fresh vegetable, a raw, like
Yeah, and that
carrots.
helps with your diet.
Yeah, right. It was so useful to me.
It
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you two should be accountability partners.
Ooh, I love
Well,
that.
we could do that because right
I
now,
love it.
yeah, sugar has been with the holidays. I'm doing good with everything but sweets, so I could probably use that.
Across
Yeah.
the pond.
Okay.
Across the pond, yeah.
Across, yeah.
So
Across
that would be my resolution, is to really just get back on track and cut out. We had Halloween, so all the little candy bars were around. Then my best friend is a baker. She's baking Christmas cookies, and yeah, I went off the wagon with that.
Yeah, we had
yeah.
See's candy in the fridge. Entire 1 pound box. And of course, one by one by one. Just having one and then one more
Mm.
Those little ones
until they're all
seems like
gone.
it seems like they don't count when they're little. It's like
No.
it's just a miniature.
Put them in the Yuka app and see what happens.
Yeah, that's good. And maybe I could at least switch to dark chocolate instead of Kit Kats, or I don't know.
It's those
Yeah.
little goals, that consistency with what you're doing. That's what got you with the 40-pound weight loss. That's what's really helped you. So you know that you're able to do it, and that self-talk
Right.
about being able to do it.
That's so empowering. You're right. When you start seeing, your progress, it is so empowering because I guess I just always thought you're a loser. Like you could never quit smoking or, you can't quit eating potato chips. But I found out I could.
Yeah.
No, well done. That's really inspiring.
Well, give it a
Fantastic.
try. Mhm.
And I
No
know
good.
we'll check back in with you. Maybe we can have, once a quarter, we can have an update from everyone. We'll get Heinz, we'll get Marcia, and we'll get Mikkel, who is the one who wrote in about the supplements, and we'll get Lynn, and we'll all just make sure. And I know our friend Douglas, who joins in often, has some goals, and Alan S. or Alan P. Has some goals, and I know our friend, our big YouTube producer Josh, has a goal of playing more video games. Hey, at least you're exercising your fingertips and your brain. Josh is going to kill me. He doesn't like to unmute on air, but I know he can. So I'm surprised he hasn't in response to this. It's a good way to finish out the segment with him scolding me for outing him, but no,
Josh,
too
you
much
can do it
silence.
with a stand-up desk, though. That's what you can do.
There you go.
That's true.
Can I just say something? Because I can see
Sure.
in the chat that Josh has put intermittent fasting. But when I spoke to because I did do that, the intermittent fast, and I've done it a couple of times. The first time it worked, and the second time I think I forgot to actually fast and just kept eating. But my vascular consultant said that was not good for people that had peripheral artery disease. The intermittent fasting.
It helped me tremendously. The only
Right.
thing I have noticed, and Deidre, I'm sorry if I'm interjecting because you're the expert. One thing I noticed really bad with intermittent fasting, and I kind of still pretty much do it. That's what I do. I get really cold, and I have asked people, and I have researched it, and I guess when you have PAD, you're usually cold anyway. And your body uses all that fuel to keep going. And I guess the longer it's been since you've eaten, you don't have that fuel to do everything. But I think intermittent fasting's great, but that's because it worked for me, other than being cold. But Deidre?
Always listen. Your provider knows you well. Most of the time we will say intermittent fasting is good. So there might be a reason as to that. And like we say here, question it. Like, what's the study on that? What's the research on it? To get more knowledge of that. There's some great books out there like Fast Like a Girl, things like that have some studies on the benefits of it. That's what
if it works, wouldn't it be better to intermittent fast and lose weight and not eat as much, fatty foods and stuff than it would be to have the extra calories?
Right, because the current research is showing that it actually appears to be beneficial for cardiovascular and vascular health by positively impacting those risk factors for cardiovascular, like blood pressure, cholesterol. So, and inflammation, you decrease inflammation when you're not eating continuously. Yeah. So
I just wonder why I was told differently then. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I wish I'd have asked why now instead of just kind of accepting it.
yeah,
It's always good to ask why.
ask why, and maybe if they have a study to share, like I'd love to see that. But the more recent stuff is showing that. So sometimes it's maybe not knowing the current knowledge, or we all get into our old habits, right? We know some something we've heard is good for us, and then we find out later, well, no, that wasn't as good for us. So,
Yeah, it's just like Heinz is sharing in here. Watch the dark chocolate. It contains cadmium and lead in many brands, which is not good for you.
No.
yeah.
Just rained on my parade, Heinz. Thank you.
Yucca app. Use the app.
Find those ones that have less. It's not required to actually report that. You have to really understand the brand, and you have to know how they source their cocoa beans and how they process it, correct? It's probably really important.
We should pick one that we know has it and see what the app says. Because I've heard lots of good things about things that people are. So,
Well, thank you so much, Nurse Practitioner Deidre. We really appreciate your time. And I'm glad that we're kicking off our series, our weekly series again. I know we took a break for the holidays, but I think we're back just about every week again. Are we back next week?
yeah, I was hoping.
Oh, good, 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 good. Because we love it. And I know everyone who participates loves it. Do we have a topic that you already have in mind?
I was wondering if you guys be interested in learning a little more about detoxification and the foods that you eat to detox.
I would love that, because also I am, and I know this is a hot topic, and I'll probably get, um, I'll get censored by YouTube on just mentioning the word COVID, but I am curious about, it's becoming more and more mainstream for these detoxifications of, long COVID and the spike protein and the COVID vaccine. So I'm curious. I'm looking at, nattokinase and pine needles and all this stuff that I don't know anything about. And so I'm curious if we might be able to touch on that with the disclaimer that the World Health Organization considers the COVID vaccine very safe. Follow your doctor's orders. Make sure you do get the COVID vaccine as prescribed by your doctors. It depends on different people, different presentations of disease, and different needs. So always, always, always talk to your doctor. This is not information here that you should be using without explicit consent by your own healthcare team. So do not act on any information or advice offered in this series anytime. With that being said, next week we are going to be talking about detox, all kinds of different detox, different methods, different ingredients, why they work, why others don't work. So that'll be really fun. So come armed with your question for Nurse Practitioner Deidre Arms. You like that? Armed for NP Arms. I love it. But make sure in the meantime, don't forget to like our video here and subscribe to our channels. Go to youtube.com/@the @NP Deidre. Subscribe to her channel. Subscribe to our channel, which is @the way to my heart. And like this video on both channels. And you will get notified after that anytime we have some new amazing content. Make sure to join us every single week for Ask Nurse Practitioner Deidre. We have a different topic every week. Kick off the new year right and start getting those New Year's resolutions in order and start taking steps to better health. And this is a good start. Your New Year's resolution, Heinz, and all of you on here and everybody watching, is to show up every Wednesday and be here to listen to Deidre and to ask her questions and to engage and learn new ways to take steps for better health. How does that sound?
Perfect.